Hi, my name is Lauren, and I am going to Japan. Yippee. I've wanted to do this for a very long time. I've visited before, but this is like an opportunity for me to be able to live in Japan and be like an everyday citizen. I recently accepted a position to be an assistant language teacher in Japan. I think it's going to be a really cool opportunity. It's going to be different, but I'm excited. As a brief introduction, this channel I'm intending will hopefully have very many videos entailing my journey through Japan and my experiences with teaching, assistant teaching technically, if you know, technically. If this is something you're interested in, I hope that this channel will be beneficial to those who are interested in, maybe even just visiting or working, especially teaching English in Japan. I haven't gotten there yet, as you can see by my disaster. I'm packing ish, and I leave next week. Yeah. I leave next week, and I haven't done much of the packing. I will start my first video with explaining how I landed this position, because there's a very good chance, if I titled this properly and tagged it properly, that people who come here are more than likely interested in potentially teaching in Japan. So, welcome aboard. I'll tell you how I got in hopes that maybe if you have a program that, or company that you're applying to, and it follows the same basic structure, it might benefit you. Or maybe this will be completely useless to you, and I'm sorry. I applied for this program pretty much directly after I graduated college. But I graduated. Yay! Somehow, I don't even know. It was insane. The certain program I'm in, you have to have a college degree. So there's step one. Get a college degree. You're already on the road to becoming an English teacher. Step two. Find the company that's right for you. Oh, that was a rhyme. There are a lot of good companies out there, and you should just follow your heart and find the one that's right for you. Or if you're really insistent on getting to Japan, just apply to all of them, because at some point, hopefully someone is bound to let you in. If not, then I'm going to tell you it's probably for good reason, and I'll get to that later. Step three. From this point on, this is, again, from the program I personally applied to. Everyone might be different, or they might all follow the same basic structure, but hopefully this is helpful to some people who apply for this specific one that I applied to. First thing was you send in an application, which consisted of your proof of graduation and or degree if you've already graduated, basic information, grades like your transcript, things of that nature, and a personal statement, which was a 2-page essay. Which sounds like, oh, I can write about myself in 2 pages. Be very conscious about your personal statement. I will get into that. This tells your prospective company what your purpose is. Go figure. Your statement of purpose can pretty much make or break your job hunt to Japan via these companies, because they use these essays to judge whether or not you are an appropriate candidate for the job. Your statement of purpose will kind of, show what kind of mindset you're in, and whether or not your aspirations are aligned with the foundation and the principles of the company. So it's very important that you answer honestly. If you give them a false persona, you're going to get over there and you're going to hate it. You are going to despise it, probably, more than likely, because you're not going over there for the right reasons. Yes, the first thing you need to do before applying for this job is get your priorities laid out. Like, why? Pretty much answer the whys of why you really want to go. If you're wanting to go because just for the sole purpose that you really like the culture, that's good. That's a good start. But nah. If you're just applying because you just honestly always wanted to go to Japan, and that's just kind of like a trip on your list, or it's like, I just really want to go. I want to go. Hold up a little bit. Just reel it on back. What you are applying for is not a paid vacation. It is not a trip. It is not a volunteer service. It is a job. It's a job. It is a working, paying job. And they are hiring people for a working, paying job. Some of the videos I've seen on here, like regarding their people's experiences with teaching English, is that they seem surprised that, oh, this is like, I have to work. Like I have responsibilities. Like I barely have time to go home and watch my favorite anime show. Like, well, don't you know? I'm upset. Like, yeah, because you're doing a job. I talked to a couple people from my college because I was a Japanese major, and so I knew a lot of people who were planning on doing this program. And I knew a lot of people just basically in the program itself, Japanese major or minor, technically. It wasn't big. My last graduating class, I think, had 9 students in it, and I went to a tier 1 giant public university. Like, a huge one. Huge one. Some of the things that I was hearing was, oh, well, I really want to go. And that's kind of what I want to do. Okay, and you might think, well, you don't need an and. Like that's enough conviction and motivation to want to do it. No, it's not. If you want to go on a vacation, that's great. Like it's great to be able to experience a different country, but do not waste anybody's time, especially your own, signing up for a job that you don't want to do just because it's in a good locale. A librarian is not going to sign up to be an astrophysicist because the laboratory is located in the Swiss Alps. That is a terrible metaphor. Horrendous, but you get my point. Don't just sign up for it because you kind of want to go there or really want to go there. That's not, no. Just make sure that your priorities are in order before you even waste your time signing the paper. I will tell you what I put in my essay. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form saying this is what you should put on there, what you should say, because it's probably not what you should put. Like, I have no idea how I got chosen. You can take it with grains, tiny little minuscule grains of salt. Tiny grain. My personal reason for wanting to be an ALT is because I was really fortunate to have amazing senseis in my educational career. I had the opportunity to take Japanese high school, which was, I guess, unheard of, and I actually heard about my specific program while I was in high school. I probably, in all honesty, would not have continued my foreign language education had it not been for the enthusiasm and passion of my teachers in my high school and college career. At first, you have the excitement, oh, foreign language, this is fun, like, we're learning, and it's exciting. It kind of starts to wither, especially in Japanese, when you have 2 different alphabets, well, technically 3 if you count kanji as like an amorphic blob of despair and chaotic symbol mess. There's that. Honestly, I feel that I probably would have fizzled and gotten very discouraged, which I still did, mind you. I still got really discouraged with the language, but I probably wouldn't have stuck with it as passionately as I had it not been for my senseis. Like, I majored in it. I thought, what would be really cool is if I could encourage students to be just as passionate about learning English. Because let's face it, like, we probably don't know it, but because we speak it, English is freaking hard. Like, comb, tomb, what's another one? Through, though, cough, and then you have a wouldn't. What's a, like, how are you gonna explain what it is? Like, oh, for some reason we decided that the O wasn't worth it, so we're just gonna cut that out. We got so lazy to the point where, like, our abbreviations, we literally just duck the O. Oh, like, It's fine, whatever. Poor O. But we have a hard language, like super hard. And I'm sure it gets pretty discouraging. There's probably a lot of students who would really rather not have to bother with English. Seems like it would be a really cool challenge for those who might not be as interested, or it just might be fun to be able to like show them, hey, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring. Like, we can do this together. Like, let's do it. Like, come on. That was pretty much my main statement of purpose, was that I wanted to be like my senseis and leave a positive impression of the language on students. You know, I'm not saying for you to use that, because that's something that I personally feel. You might have something else. And I've kind of always been geared toward kids, which is just something I really like. So it just kind of Japanese and kids just kind of meshed. I'm a little nervous because I got assigned to junior high, and I don't know how to deal with puberty. Like, I personally didn't deal with it well. I was a very strange child, so this will be exciting because I haven't dealt with kids that are older than like 8. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. My main point is, be honest on your statement of purpose. Don't try to be the perfect candidate just because you really want to go over there. I mean, obviously it's good to give them things that you would think they would like to hear. Like, don't just start ranting about how, you know, you really like to eat dog food and you think that Brad Pitt is hot. What was I talking about? If you make it past your application process, you are invited for an interview. I was given a time, and I went to this time, and I went 2 hours early. I expected a lot more traffic than there was. And the guy in front of me didn't show up. So they were like, you want to go? And I was like, no. But no, I said yes enthusiastically while I was, almost paying. You will dress in a suit, or for ladies, like, a suit. And I stress this because there has been, I guess, a redefining of what business attire is. I know, I understand that not everyone can go out and afford like a $600 suit. Like, I'm not telling you should do that. If you are told this is business attire, you wear business attire. That would include a jacket, a blouse, and or button-up. For men, it'd be a tie, pants, or women would be pants or skirt. We get to be versatile. Hey! And nice shoes. Now for ladies, because it's a very important fact, in Japan, bare legs are kind of a no-no. And by kind of, I mean they're a no-no. So if you're planning on wearing a skirt, you better find your local DSW and grab some pantyhose. The interview process is a job interview for a job in Japan. As such, you should probably dress as close to the Japanese business interview ideal as you can. What do you mean by this? Well, I personally wore a suit jacket, white button-up collared blouse, skirt, pantyhose, and plain black pumps. And by pumps, I mean like heel this big. Like, I'm not talking like, let's go girl, like to downtown and see how many shots we can down in 20 minutes. Like, I'm talking like your grandmother would be nervous if she had to walk around in these. I mean, granted, I get it. That's what I personally did. And it worked for me, apparently, so it could work for you, too. Just make sure that you look presentable and professional. I felt so bad for this girl. I wanted to say something, and she walked out too quickly. Skinny jeans and a thong. How do I know that she wore a thong? Let's just say she wasn't wearing a belt and her pants started to stretch out a little bit. So just make sure that you are professional and you look the part. Your interview process, at least in mine, which many people panic over, just consisted of, questions, which more than likely you can find sample questions and answers online. I say answers because don't go and spit out generic answers to them. They've heard it. It's not their first rodeo, not their second rodeo. It's probably like their 17th rodeo. When you give them the same answer for the 332nd time, like, you don't stand out. Sorry, you don't. So get creative. The following is probably the worst advice anyone can give you, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Don't really super prepare for the interview. What? Why would you say that? What? No. That's like, no. Yeah. I'm telling the truth. And why do you ask? Well, the interview process is going to be scary in its own right. It is probably going to terrify you to no end, and you will probably do what I started to do and print off every possible question that could be imaginable. I was just copy and pasting all of the questions that could possibly be asked to me. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to answer for each one of these. Like, I need to make sure that, like, they're perfect. And I was, like, writing down answers. I was like, oh, well, if they ask me this question, I'm going to make sure to use this wording so I sound smart. And then after, like, the 300th and 30,000th question that I was writing down, I realized, like, first off, I'm not going to remember anything that I've written down, and I'm probably going to freak out trying to remember the exact wording I used. And secondly, planning out your answer in some ways can a lot of times make your answer delivery a little less genuine. When you have rehearsed answers, it might come off as rehearsed, and it might just kind of take away the meaning. Why are you passionate about this job? If you have this beautiful Shakespearean monologue all planned out and you lay it out, if only I could express to you how much I want to be an ALT, to be the teacher, or maybe even the student. If you have it too rehearsed and you're really nervous, it's probably going to come out like this, and it's going to seem like you don't really care about what you're saying, but you really do. You just don't want to pee your pants while you're sitting in the chair while they're watching you. It's good to kind of have an idea of what they're going to ask you, but don't rehearse your answers too much. Have keywords. Have, like, good keywords in your head. Like, that's what I did. I had spark words, opportunity, and enthusiasm, passion. You don't have to remember answers, but if you can remember those, like, keywords, like the spice words, even if what you're saying is super bland, if you, like, pop in some pepper. Yeah, I'm really excited for this, but I want to be able to encourage and create a passionate, fun-filled work environment. That sounds a little better. Yeah, a little bit. My specific program had this giant hovering mass of fear over the Japanese testing portion, which occurred at the end of my interview. There's also sometimes a rumor that there's a mock lesson where they'll give you a fake scenario and you have to just roll with it. I didn't have that actually, but it honestly could have possibly been because my city just had a lot of kids. Like, a lot. Maybe in the back of your head, like I had one, in the back of your head just have like a song or like a mini game that can pretty much be applicable to a lot of lessons, like in terms of grammar or vocabulary. The Japanese portion at the end is really not bad. Like, it's really not. And I will tell you comfortably right now, I failed. I straight up failed. Like, not even like, oh, I think I did bad. Like, I don't know if I did okay. Like, no, I bombed it. Like, blood everywhere. Mind you, I took 5 years. 5 years of Japanese, ladies and gentlemen. So at this point, I probably should know, some of the stuff. They asked me, which do you like better, the mountains or the ocean? I panicked. They had asked me, like, umi, the ocean, to, yama. I heard Toyama, and all I could think of was Mount Midoriyama because of American Ninja Warrior. Or technically it's Ninja Warrior, but we kind of stole the show, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, what? I was like, ocean or Mount Midoriyama? What is the question? And I repeated, I said, I was like, Umito Midoriyama, and the amount of just utter confusion just like made me sink like 20 feet into the ground. And she was just like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Oh my god, what did I say? I know that's not right. What have I done? He repeated the question and I felt stupid. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know, I'm with you. Yeah, no, I like the mountains better. I like them better. And then he asked me why. Now, mind you, you learn, or probably will learn, adjectives, like simple describing adjectives, like your first year, like your first day. Even if you haven't learned it, you've probably learned like kirei, pretty, or, at least freaking kirei. I majored in it. So my last semester, I could literally describe to you in Japanese declining literacy rates in children due to said factors. Read an analytical social experiment based on the bystander effect to you. I can read that to you in Japanese. And this guy asked me, why do I like the mountains better than the ocean? And I said, kirei desu. Why do you like the mountains? Pretty. Huh? Pretty. I like them pretty. My interview was made up of 3 different interviewers. It had an alum from the program, university sensei from a university I actually attended as well, because I attended 2. No pressure. A gentleman from Japan, like straight from, I think, the Japanese consulate in Japan. Like, And he was the one who asked me that question. And I literally looked at him straight in the eye and said, pretty, Des. I'm not going to live that down. I had 5 years of Japanese under my belt, and I said pretty. But I passed. I mean, for my program, it's a bonus. Being able to speak Japanese is a bonus, so don't stress over it. Because I paid tuition to learn the language, and I answered like a 2-year-old. So don't stress. The main reason why you need to be honest in your interview is because you don't know what kind of connection you're going to make with your interviewers. You might not make any. You might have absolutely nothing in common with any of them. But if you're yourself, you might surprise yourself. In my statement of purpose, I had mentioned that another main reason that I want to be an ALT is because in the future, I would like to be a video game developer in Japan. So that's why I'm doing this program, because I really want to learn to speak the language fluently so I can be a more competitive participant in the video game playing field in Japan, which obviously is going to be a lot harder than being able to speak the language, but it's a start. Read your statement of purpose. Like, you know that thing. That's another reason why you want to be honest, because they will read that and they will know it, and you better know it, because they will cite a specific line from that and say, on line 52 of paragraph 4, like we read that this says this. What do you mean by that? And if you have no idea what that is, you're kind of messed. He pulled from my last paragraph, and where I pretty much stated, like, that's what I want to do, is I want to develop video games because I like them. And mind you, this guy was like, I guess he was probably late 20s, early 30s, and, business guy. Wouldn't think that you had anything in common with him. And he seemed really excited about this. He goes, like, that sounds pretty cool. Why? Like, why, So I explained that to him, and then he asked me what my favorite video game was. At the time, I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and it's honestly still one of my favorite video games. I put a lot of money into that. After I said that, his eyes, like, perked up. He was like, whoa, those are, like, my favorite. And I was like, we have a connection, sir. Like, Tomodachi. So that was really cool. But I wouldn't have known that had I not been honest, had I just, beefed up my statement of purpose. If you aren't yourself, then you probably won't make the connection. But don't be discouraged. Like, you can apply for this program, at least my program, as many times as you want. It's really competitive, and especially if your heart's in the right place. If it's in the right place, like, You go. You go, boo-boo child. You don't stop. Believe it. I hope this was helpful for maybe at least one person, maybe two, hopefully. If not, sorry. I hope that you would have clicked away by now if it was a waste of your time. If not, thanks for staying. I plan to continue to make hopefully educational videos about Japan, about me going to Japan. More than likely there will be a video coming up on how to pack. This is a suitcase, so that's a good start, right? The suitcase is required for packing. So step one, done. It's empty. It's empty right now, but what's an empty suitcase if not an opportunity for possibilities and creative folding techniques? It just sounds like a wonderful adventure that I get to rush within a week before I jump on a plane to an overseas foreign country. So yeah, maybe a packing video will come in handy. And there's a good chance there'll be a post-packing video of when I arrive in Japan and realize I did it all wrong. Hopefully my experiences in my program will be a little bit more positive than some of the stuff circulating on the internet. Seems to be a very common theme where people are really not liking teaching in Japan, an experience that they weren't expecting, and it's something that doesn't really mesh with them, and that's a personal experience. But please don't be discouraged. Like, I am attempting to keep the most open and positive mind as possible, because at the end of the day, if I go in already with a negative attitude, it's not going to be fun. Everyone's experiences are different. You know, some of the people that have been negative could possibly be the people that I mentioned earlier in the video, people that are coming to Japan to teach for all the wrong reasons. It's a job, it's a responsibility, and it's going to be an exciting journey, and I'm really happy. Yay! Tune in next time for when I'm potentially stressing over packing, maybe on the flight, or stuffing my face with the wonderful Japanese cuisine. Thanks for watching. Bye.